I love cookies. I love cookies. I love cookies. I love cookies.
Welcome to Cookies, the world's most influential basketball podcast. I know it, you know it, Andrew Quo knows it. Mr. Quo, how are you on this dreary Monday afternoon? Monday morning? Monday afternoon? It's a opaque space. How are you doing, buddy?
Happy Halloween!
Oh.
I didn't know whether to do a vampire or a ghost or like a Frankenstein, but it is a wonderful day in our calendar, man. It is spooky season officially.
Oh man, you are a Dracula today.
Yeah, I was gonna say I sit in dark rooms staring at candles upside down watching Knicks games, that's for sure, but oh man, it got a little close to home and I got a little shook.
I could sense you crumbling as you tried to make a joke about staring at Randall's. But look,
Nevertheless,
I know the Knicks took a loss last night, but all is not lost. You can still suck some blood, enjoy a little garlic on occasion, and so on.
you can always wipe down that Knicks coffin, the Knicks cape. You know how it goes. My coffin's lined with Knicks felt. I don't know.
There's been a Supreme coffin. Do you think there's ever been a Knicks coffin? I would say probably yes.
Well, I have like Grim Reaper Knicks tattoos and stuff. There must be. I mean, the interns are hard at work always at this whole motif. So you're gonna have to ask those dudes in the cages, but they're just too busy being hungry for gruel.
Oh, it's a motif, all right. So yeah, Halloween is here. Did you dress up this Halloween season?
I blew it, man. I know I have a few more hours. I had big plans, huge plans. I was like workshopping all these ideas. I went to art school,
really?
Man. Yeah.
Would you
totally.
Are these ideas that need to be kept under lock and key, or are they things that you may unveil in the future? Is there anything you can share with us? I guess
I can share it all, man. I am an open book. First, there was my number one idea was Frankenstein was going to be the one. It's like go green, get some big ass shoes, my black Hokas, some shoulder pads, just like rock that. That would have been the number one draft pick. Number two.
Were you trying to bait the pedantic people into saying, no, you're Frankenstein's monster. You're not actually Frankenstein.
Right.
What if you just went as a scientist and then told everyone you're Frankenstein?
Super annoying. I should
incredibly annoying.
Yeah. No, nothing of that sort, Ben. That is off limits not on my Halloween watch.
I'm Dr. Frankenstein. What you're looking for is Frankenstein's monster.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go out dressed up as a glizzy in a Knicks uniform and be like, guess who I am? Hartenstein Frankenstein. Like, no. I am just straight up.
You're Zweigel dog.
Yeah. Number two, get ready, crafty, a damn mummy.
Nice.
Thank you.
Now, the mummy is slept on, I believe.
I agree.
In generally speaking, we get the mummy, and we hear about the Egyptian version. Mm-hmm. But they're very regional specific. You only kind of get the mummies in the pyramids with asps slithering around, maybe a scarab, some sort of beetle. Mm-hmm. Occasionally the Nile runs red with blood or a plague. Mm-hmm. But when do we get a modern mummy?
Go on.
Like a mummy just going about his business. Maybe a mummy in New York.
Just going to get weed chocolates and some weed.
Vape. Buying some penis envy mushrooms.
Yeah, yeah.
You
Like
know,
a mummy.
hitting up. Yeah. Like, okay, we're gonna go out to Bushwick. We're gonna hit up, Scratch for a rave. See some live bands, and the mummy kind of goes back downtown, waits in line, gets a slice of scars.
The mummy at
sees
the
the
corner of the
gang.
bar at 9 Orchard, just being like, "See, I told you, the Knicks are good." Like the classic mummy behavior.
Like, yeah, like real modern mummy shit.
Well, that's pretty good. My third and final, Abraham Lincoln, Honest Abe himself. Can you picture it? Top hat, beard, some sort of like suit jacket situation, 4 scores. Just like one of the most ethical Republicans or Republicans in history, depending on how you frame it.
Well, I think you can pull that off uniquely because you, like him, are about 6'6", right?
That's right. And luckily, like I can't really pull off Hartenstein because you can see my scars. But as Honest Abe, you can't see shit.
Was he 6'6"?
Something like that. That would make him a combo guard.
All right, he's listed at 6'4", so
With
I believe
shoes.
if he
With
was
or without
wearing-
hokas.
If he was wearing hokas, like that's an easy 6'6". So I'm saying 6'6", like small forward, I would say.
That's RJ Barrett's height, right?
Yeah, but Lincoln has more steals.
Oh, he has a steal.
Just
He
any
stole
steal.
our hearts with his ethical behavior.
Do we have a president as tall as Bin Laden?
How tall is your boy Bin Laden? Ben Laden.
Lincoln's listed as our tallest president at 6'4", which is crazy.
That makes sense.
That's the tallest?
I mean, he's known as a tall king, but
Bin
like
Laden is listed at 6'5", so no, we have never had a president as tall as Bin Laden. What a L.
yeah, woo. Bin Laden, man, just like with or without Yeezys though. Do some Yeezys have that lift? Yeah, the ones that look like they've been like microwaved on Mars. Those have a lift, right?
I think they give you an extra inch or so. So like
Yeah.
Bin Laden in hokas?
Woo!
Wow.
Wow. Above the rim.
All right, so I like your Lincoln costume.
Thank you.
So where did this go wrong? You had 3 great ideas.
Mm-hmm.
As you said, you're crafty. You went to art school. You're good with some scissors, construction paper, glue stick. You're a beast.
Hot
you're a
glue.
beast
Yeah.
with the glue stick. What happened?
I was too busy sifting through RJ Barrett stats that we'll get to later, but it took all night. I was searching for that steal. I was just like, well, he's played a lot of minutes. There must be a steal here somewhere. Oh my God, Halloween's tomorrow? That's what happened to me.
Okay, all right. It says that he hasn't had a steal, but that can't be right.
That can't
let
be
me,
right.
Let me pour through the game footage. Find that
Let me watch
elusive
some
theft.
tape. Yeah, is Tim Donaghy? Is this the big steal? Taking away this stat away from RJ Barrett? What's something's amiss, man?
He is ethical. He is an ethical player. Look, I'm not going to take the ball away from you. I'm not going to commit shoplifting or larceny. Go out there and try to get bucket, and I'll try to stop you.
Right.
Let's do this. Let's do this fair. Honest Abe.
Honest Abe. Well, I mean, people can't see you, but you're sitting right next to me, and you're in full Dracula vibes. Like you got blood dripping down your lips. Like you got the fangs in. People can't really see it, but they might be able to hear it. You got the widow's peak. You're upside down on the ceiling, man. You're going all for it.
Yeah, I'm really into dressing up, and I've been dressing up since Wednesday. Like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. I might just keep this going. I'm trying to find more Halloween themed parties. Maybe even later next week. Like let's just, instead of this being a 3 or 4 day holiday, let's just turn it into a month.
Well, they said Thursday was the new Friday. And, you celebrate Halloween like on Friday and Saturdays, wherever it falls in the week. So if Thursday's the new Friday, That's the weekend. But then Wednesday is pretty close to Thursday too, so you can kind of consider that the weekend. But then Tuesday comes right before Wednesday, so you're just like the count throughout.
I was kind of thinking that maybe we could roll Thanksgiving and Halloween into like another holiday combined. Like we'll dress up as the Babadook, but we'll also eat turkey.
Thanksgiving ween.
Oh, fuck. For a second there, I looked out the window, and I thought it was another lanternfly.
Oh, my God. Was it just your neighbor dressed up as a lanternfly? Don't Pelosi him, man.
Hit him in the head with a something. I don't know. It is a weird bug, though. Hold on, I'm going to investigate. One sec. That's another weird bug.
Kill it.
I don't know if
kill
I
it
want to kill it.
with
It
your
might be
hands.
peaceful. Hold on. Folks, it's just a bee.
Oh,
And
with
I'm a friend. I'm a friend to the bees.
The bee with the greatest PR team in history. All of a sudden, everyone loves the bee. What did the bee do that was so great?
I mean, that is true. Growing up, you're like, oh my God, a bee.
Yeah. Don't get stung
Kill
with
it.
those. Yeah. I'm allergic to
dangerous.
bee stings. Like, everyone get rid of the bees. Now the bee, everyone's like, well, the bee just wants it more. The bee's got that dog.
You know who's got terrible PR is wasps.
They're heinous creatures. They're
Okay,
heinous.
we're going to rebrand. We're going to rebrand.
Right.
White Anglo-Saxon Protestants. Like, no, this blew up in our face. Ugh. Who's
Terrible.
doing the bees? Who's working with the bees here?
Yeah. I mean, that and spiders, man. We've talked about this. We're rehashing perfect pods.
Yeah. Did you read that New Yorker article about the disappearance of bugs by volume?
I've heard many stories about it, but that article in particular, no.
Might have been New York Times Magazine, actually. One of the two. Some prestige media outlet, a local broadsheet or periodical. But the article was about how there just aren't as many bugs on planet Earth as there used to be. And I feel like that anecdotally is obvious.
Yeah.
Like as a kid, there were just bugs everywhere.
Everywhere.
If you would drive your car during the summer, the windshield would be just gummy with the carcasses of all the dead insects that you hit. Now, like a couple. I swear, there are just way fewer. Or they've smartened up. They now know to avoid cars.
There was a construction project going on near my house, like 2 doors from my apartment building a few years ago. And there were so many roaches in my house. It was insane. I would come back from having N beer, flip on the lights, and I kid you not, there would be 5 huge tank roaches on my kitchen floor. It was a horror story, and it was just because, like, jackhammering, they were displaced, like, I Googled it, and as soon as they mellow out with the loud, invasive construction stuff, they would all go back to where they came from. So, like, my landlord was like, all right, well, we'll get the exterminator there. And I was like, good, get rid of them. And I was like, wait, what is the exterminator going to do? Because if they're just going to leave out poison, wouldn't that also be bad for the humans? So I was like, let's just wait for the construction to die down because I don't want poison throughout this whole building.
Wow. A real king of coexistence.
No, I was smashing those bugs, man. Smash, smash, smash.
But
I hate
organically.
roaches.
The roaches don't have good PR.
Well, yeah, they don't. They tried. Remember there was a few years, everyone's like, that's not a roach, that's a water bug. It's completely different. I'm like, it's huge, it's disgusting, and it's right here. It's like, that's not a roach, though.
The Waterbug rebrand didn't really take.
No.
Although people say it only out of like a shame for themselves.
It's like,
I got a couple water bugs in my house. I'm like, well, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, they are. They're the size of like a small dog, and you stomp on them and they just kind of look at you and shrug. But that's a big roach, man.
It's like, I lost thousands of dollars in Meta. It's like, bro, that's Facebook. It's like, nope. It's Meta. I'm like, sure, but when did you get it? It's just like, doesn't matter. It's called Meta now. All right. What happened to your thousands of dollars? Like, it's gone.
So what is going on with Facebook these days? I feel like the Cookies Instagram account has been battered by the, our army of bots that we purchased hundreds and thousands, millions of bots, and they're getting purged now.
A lot of purging going on, man. People losing hundreds of followers today, depending on how many you have. Some accounts being straight up deleted for no one knows why. I say more bots, man. Maybe this thing is all about the bots. Let the bots live.
This is the theory we were talking about the other day. I'm like, how many people are actually on Instagram? Like 100?
Yeah.
Couple hundred?
Yeah.
Twitter, we know there's like 50 people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, millions of, yeah, right. There's like
No.
50 people on Twitter. I've checked the site. There's 50 people.
Yeah. Well, it's like we have 50 interns. Are those the 50 people you're talking about?
Pretty much.
Yeah. Meta. Someone made a good observation. They were like, you have to sell something that people understand. After a while, people have to understand it. It's like, tell me what the metaverse is. I'm like, yeah, that's a good point. I can kind of tell you what the metaverse is, and they pivoted entirely to this thing where Zuckerberg looks like he's from Super Mario from Nintendo 64 time. Me playing the DJ Shadow vinyl, like eating chicken nuggets, plugging in my Nintendo 64, and hanging out with Zuck.
Well, yeah, the biggest problem with Web3 is that no one can actually tell you what it is. And I think Meta, to their credit, have attempted to define what it is. And that definition is, as you described it, it's like, well, it's Second Life, but with Zuck.
Right. Zuck is everywhere.
But it's also work. Like, it's kind of work. You're going to have a avatar yourself. It's kind of like a little shitty cartoon of you, and you're going to be at work. And it's a Zoom meeting, but with cartoons. You're like, okay, you have done a better job defining Web3 and describing what it's going to be like than anybody. And fuck off. Get out of here. I'm going to have a cartoon and I'm going to be in a meeting?
Well,
this is awful. I want to avoid your site at all costs.
Well, the meetings, you accrue credits, and they're not like American dollars or British pounds. They're credits. And then you could use it to buy stuff and also go into debt. And then you can also have a mortgage on this Meta apartment that you would buy. And you would be saddled with this compounded debt throughout your whole life in the metaverse. Does that sound appealing to you?
Yeah, I just want a future where I can be kind of strapped into a little hovel where like my life is terrible, but I put on some interesting goggles and some headphones and I'm transported to like an equally shitty place that I'm also paying rent on. Like I have another hovel, but it's digital.
Yeah.
Maybe it has a moat.
Remember the future of like watching sporting events or anything was for a second? Like imagine, okay, you're in your apartment, you put on a headset and you can be sitting courtside for a price with like your friends. And then I just imagine sitting courtside at a Knicks game with someone just being like, see, we should have traded for Donovan Mitchell. Brunson's the real deal. RJ Barrett's going to be an all-star. And be like, take these goggles off of my face, man.
I still thought that was a good idea. I still think it's a good idea. Maybe not the friends part, because as you've said, no more friends. We're trying to get rid of friends going forward.
Yeah.
I don't know how you made it through your 20s without making infinite friends. But I do think that idea of sitting courtside, it could be any sport. It doesn't have to be basketball. Where that's where the camera is and that's where the VR is and you turn your head and you're seeing the whole experience. That at least seems appealing as a product.
Mm-hmm. Well,
that you could charge $50 for people to have basically pay-per-view courtside seats to a game and sell that infinitely.
But let me pose like
cool.
a practical question. I agree too, but let me pose a practical question. Because when you're there in real life, and I don't know what real life is, but let's just assume it's real life. We're sitting watching the Knicks play the Bucks. And like we're happy in our seats because we can look around and there's stuff around. There's like you can feel the floor, you can touch wood, and you can like interact with the stuff around you. You can smell stuff, whatever. Glizzy's coming by. And if you're virtually sitting there, don't inherently you get bored? Like, isn't the first instinct virtually when you're in a created space would be to explore, right? So wouldn't you want to get up and be like, you can enter this room where you're on the opposite end of the court, and then through this portal you can go shopping? Like, how is that going to work, and do we have the bandwidth to create and experience that?
Well, the other issue with it is that courtside seats aren't actually the best seats. They're only the coolest place to sit because it's fun and you can see the players and hear them. But the view from there, in terms of just watching a game, isn't that ideal. No. So, like, you kind of have to have people also provided with an option of, like, sit 15th row, center court. And you would be able to toggle around, like, video game style. Oh, do you want to watch, like, from the baseline? Do you want to watch from the sideline? Do you want to watch from up? I feel like that would probably be the future, is kind of creating, like, the 2K vantage points in order to watch the game.
Mm-hmm. And then you couldn't really charge that much for it, because that's just watching on TV.
I was about to say, the best view is what you see on TV. Like, that's the best way to watch it for sure. Yeah. I was talking with Jacoby yesterday, our buddy, and he was with Jalen Rose and in Detroit, and they're watching the Warriors go against the Pistons. Beef Stew,
that's a
who
cool
is
game.
Rochester Strong.
Jesus.
Human garbage plate in the flesh.
Okay.
Had a big game. Anyway, but he was texting me. He's like, these guys are so good at basketball. They're so good. And to me, that is always the biggest takeaway when you sit really close. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's that the court is tiny, despite the fact that that court is fucking gargantuan. Yeah. I don't know if you've ever played on an actual NBA court. You get a rebound and you start dribbling at one direction, and you have to make a base camp and, like, head for the summit in the morning. It's so fucking far. You, like, run out of breath and you're like, oh man, I'm not even at the 3-point line yet. Yeah. It is enormous. But when you're watching that close and seeing these guys flying around, it doesn't look like there's any room to do anything. Like, the passes get snapped around. The guys get it. They have this split second to get a three off. And on TV, it looks like they're open. Yeah. When you watch it in real life, there's a 6'9" guy with a super long arm flying at them almost immediately. Once in a while, obviously, someone is, like, completely alone. But for the most part, open shots are so completely contested in how, like, a normal human plays basketball by someone who is so abnormally fast and long-limbed and athletic. That's always my takeaway. When you're that close, I don't know that you could capture that with a VR headset. I just don't know if it works in that way.
Well, that's the thing. Like, if you think about going to a game and how expensive it is, like, it's a whole experience of, like, choosing what you want to eat. That usually takes, like, a few minutes, or, like, for me, it takes sometimes an entire half to think about what I want and to think about which jersey I want. Should I get Rasheed Wallace? Should I get, like, Iman Shumpert? Like, I don't know. Like, all this stuff is the experience, and I think where the virtual space kind of falls flat to me, it's just like, well, log in and go see a huge 40-foot Travis Scott perform wherever, and then, like, run around with, like, people dressed up as their avatars and, like, rock out to Travis Scott's new song. Kind of amazing, but, like, it's in the details, right? And, like, especially if you're single and not an incel, or maybe an incel, and you're just like, maybe I want to, like, interact with somebody that I can, like, maybe, like, create another story with, whatever, like how they talk about video games. But it is not, we don't want to go online just to see Travis Scott because, like, we want to buy t-shirts and we want to buy food afterwards, and it's the whole surrounding thing. Like, a date is terrible when it's just a movie. You're not like, okay, that movie was cool, we should do this again. Like, I don't know. But and I know, like, fashion people were saying this might be a turning point where people start spending real money on luxury brands in this metaverse. But, like, that concept came out, like, a few years ago, and I have not seen any proof that that's happening.
I don't believe that at all.
It was an idea that people were trying to circle just to not get left out, but I don't think it actually happened.
Again, they never made a compelling argument for what it was or why it was functional, other than that.
Well, the add-on
It was the
industry, right? The add-on
right, it was the
industry
idea
is
of-
the money.
Yeah, well, I was going to say it was the idea of just commerce. It was like, okay, can we sell you, and why would this not be appealing if you're a brand? Can we sell you non-existent versions of our product that you will pay for? Like, as a brand, I love that. You know, hey, interns, get out there and design some like Cookies Hoops T-shirts that don't exist.
But
Maybe some
also
people will
with
buy them.
non-existent money. You know, like none of it is existent, right? Like it's like, well, I have 400 doggy coins. It's like, well, if you want these Cookies Hoops shirts, you got to save up your dog. It's like, these Brun dogs on me, you know, burning a hole in my Brun dog pocket.
I would like real money in exchange for these fake, non-existent, imaginary items.
Well, no one lets you leave the poker table after you won a hand, right? Like, imagine trying to extract actual dollars from the metaverse. It's like, are you sure you want to do that? You get taxed by like the meta tax police, and then like you have to wait 4 weeks for it to process, and then you get taxed again. It's like they don't want you to leave that.
Okay. I'll take the digital Cookies Hoop sweatshirt.
Yes, yeah, exactly. But Elon wants to charge people $20 for their blue checks.
Right. So your guy Elon is now and the owner of Twitter. I don't know how the percentages break down, but for all functional purposes, he seems to be now the face and owner of Twitter. And he announced his arrival by saying the jokes are back. I don't know.
Comedy is allowed on Twitter again, whatever.
He did that. There was a report, I think it came out last night or this morning, saying that Twitter was going to charge $20 subscriptions for people who have blue checks. Now, whether that means that if you have a blue check, you have to start paying for it or you'll lose it, or it is a way for people who do not have blue checks to get blue checks. All very unclear whether this will happen or not. In some ways, I hope it does, because it's a really bad idea in terms of like their business model, I think.
I mean, I'm not a blue check fan. I don't think that's a great way to do it. I'm not sure if verification is what verified people want. Like, it looks cool aesthetically, talk about an add-on, but like it brings upon like some harshness that like doesn't really happen if you don't have a blue check, and rightfully so. Like, no one's gonna egg your Honda Civic, you know. But I don't think Elon Musk is gonna do it. I don't think he's gonna do that much. I may be wrong, but like he fired a bunch of people, which kind of makes sense. To our point when we were talking about your boy, your dude, the guy you're a fan of, Ye, buying Parler, it was like, has this ever worked? You know, it just reminds me of all these disasters of like BuzzFeed and everything. And the New York Times has changed hands and kind of, I don't know, depending on how you feel about it. I don't know what innovations Elon has, because the proprietary stuff that you would need to make this thing valuable, Twitter, like no one owns it, right? Of course they have our tweets and data, but they don't own our loyalty. We're not locked in. He's trying to lock us in, which is smart, but it's too late, I think. I think we migrate pretty quickly, or we just leave it, and he just takes that minor L. He just splurged on a funny thing. I think him destroying it might be like his little joke.
Paid too much to be a little joke. I think he's going to enjoy the fruits of the troll opportunities that he can sit here and be like, I'm bringing Trump back. He can exercise power over people that he doesn't like, which is, for the most part, blue check Twitter. Like liberal media, hand-wringing Twitter. That's who he doesn't like. They don't like him. He doesn't like, that there is
No one likes any of
natural
those people. Yeah.
Right, but there is
We
an
hate both of you.
animosity with him, where he can say, you know what, that thing that you treasure, your little blue check mark that makes you an expert. And I'm gonna say, I have a blue check mark. I don't give a shit. I don't even know how I got it, to be honest. I can't remember when I was writing for magazines, if I filled something out. I don't even remember, honestly.
There were some adjacent people that were around that blessed everyone with blue checks.
Yeah. So whatever the case may be, they're definitely freighted with a connotation that comes with, like, you think you're better than us. And that happened a lot. You know, you tweet something about, like, basketball and be like, how'd this guy get a blue check? You're like, what? Like, why would just agree or disagree? What does it have to do with a blue check? But there is something that Elon has identified, that people are proud of these check marks. So him coming in and being like, you know what, you can just buy one, or you have to pay me to keep yours, is definitely a shot across the bow at sort of the neoliberal or even liberal cognoscenti who dislikes him.
Yeah, it might work better without it, you know, but in these video games, like World of Warcraft or whatever, there's like add-ons to tell people that you are experienced and qualified, right? Like we always argue about authenticity. Like, I am imagining like you're trying to slay the dragon and some dude comes in with like a gold armor outfit with like a bigger sword, and you're like, oh, this guy has killed more dragons than I have, right? Like, that is just kind of a very normal thing, I believe. I don't know. I'm not in those rooms. Leroy Jenkins. But like, it to me, that's a funny move. I would just get rid of all blue check marks. But to make people pay for them is kind of hilarious too.
I mean, to me, the benefit of the check mark is just to know that it's that actual person. That to me is.
Are you saying
why
I'm
they
not
should
actually
exist.
Earl Boykins as Milhouse Van Lout?
Yeah, you might run into some trouble with that one.
Well,
it's so weird that you can't get verified as Earl Boykins. It's very strange.
it's as if I logged onto all these social media sites as a joke and then realized it was all work related. Whoops.
But yeah, to me, it's only that, like, if you see someone reporting some news, that you can be like, okay, that's actually Woj and not someone impersonating Woj and using his face and changing the letters. I'm like, that actually is a valuable reason for it to exist.
Yeah,
like, I don't mean like in the way of like, oh, this is news. I'm like, man, if everyone just changing one word around, you have to look at their account and see who follows. It's like, what an annoying wrinkle. I mean, I get that people have pride in it, but to me, it's mostly like, is this person the person that they're claiming to be? It's like somewhat valuable, you know.
I mean, it sucks because you have to like do the dishes and take out the garbage and like edit your feed and make sure like you have the right Woj every time. Yeah, it's annoying, but conceptually, I get what people are saying. It's just like, news kind of shouldn't work this way, but it always has. Like, it's a gatekeeper thing we just talked about last episode. It's like, is it helpful or does it create other problems? Like, we've developed a language in which we can believe or disbelieve people when they talk about Kyrie Irving so quickly because we've just like adapted and have done this before. We're on level 8 of like tearing down Kyrie Irving on social media. And he kind of deserves it this time, but like everyone, and then they respond with the same words. It's like, your dedication to the bit. I'm like, I have to not engage with this because this is some trash.
I just feel like that Twitter in particular, Instagram less so because it's not about news. It's less present.
The format doesn't lend itself to it.
The format, not having people verified, is like really a drag, because to me it has nothing to do with like whether I believe that they are saying things that are right or wrong. It's just that this is an actual person, because plenty of people who are blue checks are Republican, you know, or conservative, or disagree with me on the return of Ben Simmons. I just mean blue check doesn't mean they agree with you. It just means it's who they say they are. So like, but whatever. If Elon gets rid of it, he gets rid of it. Like, who cares? I just wonder, as we pondered last week, is there a migration? Because Twitter, in many ways, I think, has benefited from being the only game in town in terms of this concept of micro blogging. And once they put it up there, Facebook bit it,